Welcome to the Editor's Note Comics Podcast, the only podcast coming from Central Maine's best comic book store by default. My name is Zach. With me is my co-host, Jerry Six.
Oh, come on, man. Just because the Edheads were vindictive from 2 weeks ago doesn't mean that you have to hop on that bandwagon as well. In fact, you know what? I'm going to create a rogue splinter podcast coming out of the Editor's Note Comics bookstore. So, you know what? You won't be the only one now. So there. Screw you.
I like that there's a hashtag about you.
Hashtag Jerry Six?
Yeah.
Is there a hashtag about you? See, local internet celebrity. I get hashtags. I don't care what they say about me as long as they're talking about me. Actually, that's not true. I'm pretty self-conscious at times.
The same guy that named you called me King of Comics in Central Maine, and I got some like from one of the biggest artists in the world, so, you know.
Yeah,
compare that to your
King of Comics.
half a foot long hashtag.
King of Comics by default, according to you, because everything about your store is by default.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, so you're like, it's like, yeah, great, you're king of an island, but nobody really cares about the island.
If you care enough, I've been there for a year.
That's a good point. Yeah, I know, we just had the 1 year anniversary. You had the 1 year anniversary of the store. I really had nothing to do with it except for setting the high score on the pinball machine and coming in when I'm bored and need to kill 25, 30 minutes.
What's weird is it's 12. People don't do very good on that game.
My high score is not 12. My high score is like 5,200 and something. So there. Gauntlet thrown. Get at me, Edheads. Step up. Drop a quarter on the pinball machine. See if you can hang with King Jerry.
Sad times. All right. As we do each and every week, we are going to cover the news.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
It's time for the news.
What do you want? Because this is all just going to come in sections. Do you want Flash news, Justice League news, or that's about it? So there's a lot of each.
Well, let's go Flash first.
Flash Season 3 is coming together, and I am so excited for this show. They're doing the first part of it's going to be Flashpoint, so we're getting an alternate timeline where things are different. And they talked about this week how they're going to have like those back, like they're going to reference Back to the Future. There's going to be this whole like changing timeline, like almost like the hand disappearing kind of moment.
Well, again, there's a Flash in every universe.
Yeah.
Or every timeline, or whatever the saying is.
There's going to be...
I'm so self-conscious about what I say on the show now after that shot fired by Star Wars Fan 87 on the Twitter sphere.
It's the game show that's sweeping the nation. Hi, I'm your host, Mark Titan. Come on, let's play Who the Heck is Jared Talking About? Okay, contestants, get your buzzers ready. Here's your first clue.
Man, I hope we get some more Jeffrey Irons.
Zach.
Jeremy
Alfred.
Irons.
Correct. Okay, clue number 2.
Jeremy Lin did it. He took the Fast and the Furious franchise from like movies to really good stuff.
Erica.
Jeremy Renner?
Oh, sorry. Zach.
Justin Lin.
Right on. Okay, now on to clue 3.
Help me, AJ Abrams. You're my only hope.
Zach for the clean sweep.
J.J. Abrams.
Correct. Well, that's it for today. But tune in next week to see if anyone can beat Zach in Who the Heck is Jared Talking About? Bye, folks.
Never mentions the fact that I'm always over here saying, oh, gotta fact check the show, and I hop on my phone to make sure that I make you sound smarter than you actually are.
And I fact check nothing. I refuse.
I got 3 names wrong, and there's a YouTube video about me. I have to like look up who people are in movies for you mid-show, and yet you're considered to be like the king. Although I will give him credit, most of the time you're one of the few people who can decipher what I'm actually saying. Who do I actually mean?
Flash is going to have a 2-part crossover musical episode of Supergirl.
What? A musical episode?
Just like a musical episode of every show ever.
Is the Supergirl going to start singing?
Yeah.
Like what? Come Fly With Me?
Yeah, it's going to be one of those ones where they do like
a Baz Luhrmann kind of production, like he used to do in the late 90s, early 2000s, like Moulin Rouge. All that was like covers.
Yeah, that kind of thing with I get this one original song in each show, but screw it, I'm on board.
I like clever music. So it's kind of like a Glee.
Or any other show that's had a musical episode, like literally every show
Every episode of Glee was a musical episode.
I never watched that show.
Me either, I just know about it.
It's going to be a 2-part Gorilla City episode, all monkeys. 2 episodes monkeys.
Monkeys and singing?
Yes.
Damn dirty apes.
And they finally cast one of the last major rogues that haven't been on the show yet. We're going to get Mirror Master. We'll see how it goes. But I'm excited.
You sound excited.
I am. This show, I love it. And now they keep on like rolling out all this big stuff. I feel like they've said what half the season is. I don't care. I want it all.
But you look forward to, you know that certain things are going to happen. It's just a matter of how they tell the story.
Let's go into the world of just assorted. It's all DC news this week. That's not true. Let's try and sneak a little bit of Star Wars in there too.
May the Force be with us.
Supposedly, and this is just a rumor at this point, they're looking to cast a young Lando Calrissian in the Han Solo movie. Right now the names being thrown around are Donald Glover and Michael B. Jordan.
Ooh, Michael B. Jordan would be good.
I could see either one of them doing a good role. Some people, they throw out Anthony Mackie's name too, but he doesn't have the look, I guess.
He doesn't strike me as like a Lando Calrissian. Plus, we get enough of him over in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Ooh, Donald Glover wouldn't be bad either, really.
Yeah.
Those are two solid names.
I'd be all about that. And,
no offense to Anthony Mackie.
They'd have to do that whole, how did Han Solo get the Millennium Falcon?
Yes, that's a good point. I'd like to think that they, there was a bad poker game.
I think it was straight poker. Just digress that whole movie.
Yeah, the last couple of books you've given me to read, by the way, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves. A lot of nakedness in the comics you've had me read recently. Anyway.
Missing the point of the books entirely.
Well, it's not like I was like, oh, I'm reading it like as a skin picture book.
This is what, like the back of the JCPenney catalog?
No, that's your material, not mine. Let's get back on topic, though. No, I think you got to have that backstory about the Millennium Falcon. So maybe we get to see what Han Solo was cruising around in before the Millennium Falcon. I'd like to know if he gets to meet Chewbacca. Have we learn how he meets Chewbacca in this, or are he and Chewie already together? And who's going to play Chewie? Because Peter Mayhew is old.
The other guy, the guy who played him for about half of Force Awakens. Whatever, his 7-foot guy.
Excuse me, I go and fact check the show.
Someone who's freakishly tall and did all of the walking.
Dikembe Mutombo, he's freakishly tall.
Because Peter Mayhew, his knees are shot. So basically, if Chewbacca was moving, which is why I think they shot Chewbacca, they're like, it's okay, go lie down. Just go lie down for a few minutes. It's fine.
Just relax. We'll take care of this.
Don't get up. We got it. For Justice League, we get a little bit of all the different DC movies coming out. Set photo came out showing Aquaman playing guitar in full costume.
Yes,
where he just looks metal.
That's pretty badass, I'm not going to lie.
It's like an angrier version of Kiss.
It looked like he should be in, I was saying, Ozzy Osbourne or, Disturbed or something like that.
It looked really metal. I liked it. We also got some Aquaman news that the villain in his movie is going to be Black Manta, which makes sense because try and name 3 other Aquaman villains.
I can't.
No, and neither can anyone else.
By the way, the guy who played Chewbacca, the other body double, Jonas Sumoto from Finland, born in 1986.
No, we've learned something today.
He's 6'10". He's a Finnish basketball player and actor. He went to Penn State.
Right before we started recording, it came out that Cyborg is going to be in the Flash movie. Not really sure on how big of a role, but I like the idea of having, even though with Batman v Superman it kind of fell apart, of having multiple characters in these individual movies and not totally isolating them from the world.
Yeah, I like how they kind of intersperse a little bit. I hope it's kind of still... we talked about it. We talked about Suicide Squad. I like how they only snuck Batman in a little bit and he had a role to play.
And Flash.
And Flash was in there too.
Yeah.
So, hopefully they just keep giving us little tidbits and tastes of the different characters as they assemble a team.
In more photos that were posted, Henry Cavill put out some of his Superman suit from Justice League. He's going to be wearing the black suit that he wore when he decided to stop being Space Moses and started being Space Jesus in the Superman books when he disappears from his grave and then shows up later, but in a black suit and a mullet.
Space Moses to Space Jesus.
Yeah.
I get the Moses and Jesus references. Back from the dead for Jesus, and Space Moses, he came from a faraway place in a basket of sorts, an intergalactic star basket.
Yeah, Space Moses.
Is this an original creation of your part, or have you stolen this from somebody?
I'm not the first person to go, that's kind of similar.
No, but
do I know if anyone has said Space Moses? Yeah, probably.
Oh, okay. I'm just,
It's original in the moment, but I'm sure I'm not the first person to put the word space in front of it.
I don't hate it. I think it's clever, but...
Glad we digressed. My jokes are my own, unless I say otherwise. But, I don't know. Doing a different Superman suit is fine. Do we really need Superman to get any darker, though?
No.
But do we need him in a mullet?
Yes.
Yes, we do. Hey, do you remember that The Rock is supposed to be in one of these movies?
Yes, I can smell what The Rock is cooking. Well, I don't know, because he just finished up Baywatch, and there's another one that he's getting ready to film on, too.
Well, he's apparently
He's always filming.
Well, he's feuding with someone on Fast and the Furious 7. But that's not why we're here. We're not here to talk about his weird feud with one of his male co-stars. It's probably Vin Diesel.
Probably. What other male co-star is there? Not Paul Walker.
No. Ludacris?
Maybe. This could all end up in being a WWE Super SummerSlam match.
Yeah, it could also be incredibly fake.
That's also true.
Because The Rock's the most professional guy in the world.
This is
and to
so
jump on
true.
the internet being like, one of those male co-stars of mine, ooh, gonna get him.
He's gonna lay the smackdown on him. He's gonna take and check him into the SmackDown Hotel. Those jabronis. Give him the people's elbow.
Are those things that he did in wrestling?
Oh, goddamn right he did.
Yeah, I believe you.
You were never into that, were you?
No.
Well, you had comic books, I had wrestling. It's fair. Fair is fair. In fact, I'm sure there are people that listen to this podcast that enjoy both.
Yeah, I know there are.
Oh, see? So this is for you, Ed Heads who enjoy wrestling. I know what's up.
But he's going to be in Shazam. He's in Shazam as the villain, but his manager / producing partner came out and she was talking about, oh no, we're just going a little piece at a time, turning in the script, making sure the tone is right for him. How much of this is going to be about the main character?
I'm guessing very little. Very, very little.
Yeah, probably.
Well, Dwayne Johnson's one of the biggest stars in Hollywood right now, so.
Or maybe he'll have a role similar to that of the Scorpion King. And show up at the end as a half Scorpion CG character.
The CG in that was horrendous.
Yeah, it's not good.
Did you see, speaking of, it reminds me a little bit of something. I saw a crazy news article and video today of a man who's created a robot that has human features, human facial features, and can make expressions and talk and interact. It's a data. Only it's a female version.
I feel like this is going to be in Japan and it's going to be a real doll.
That would be creepy and upsetting.
And also super likely in Japan.
Everything in Japan. Have you ever seen some of the Japanese game shows?
Yeah.
There's some creepy weird game shows.
Last bit of Justice League news before we move on. This is more about Warner Brothers in general. There was an open letter put out earlier this week to the head of Warner Brothers, Kevin, name I can't pronounce. Let's see I'll pull up, see if you can give it a shot. Kevin Tsutsahara?
Sujihara, maybe? Sujihara?
Yeah, we're just going to call him Kev.
Yeah, that's a lot easier.
Because it's Kevin.
Yeah, it is.
We're halfway there. Kev. All right, so there's a letter.
Very informal with Kev.
Yeah, so this letter goes out to Kev earlier this week, and it's from an ex-Warner Brothers employee. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but basically it was this person goes and they see Suicide Squad, and they come out really angry with the quality of the movie, and they kind of get into that this is kind of his fault, that this keeps happening, that they keep on getting all these big studios, they keep spending all this money, swing and a miss, and talks about how he sent out this inter-office memo of we're working on creating the best things in the world. She's like, look at all the work you've done with Adam Sandler in the last couple of years and stuff like that. And just throws it out. She's like, because of these decisions, people keep on getting laid off at Warner Brothers, and the people at the top just keep on getting rewarded for failures. Guys like Zack Snyder, who, even though he hasn't made all these movies, he's at least been a producer on everyone, and people continually lose their jobs.
Zack Snyder has a pretty proven track record, though. You look at movies like 300 Rise of an Empire, those did very well. Watchmen, he did Watchmen, right?
Yeah, but we're talking about all the DC stuff, things that aren't as making what the plan is. And basically they said, even though Wonder Woman, the trailer was really good, everyone on the inside says it's a mess, and you're going to do it again. And I'm going to read this. I don't usually do this, but I like it.
This is scathing. I love it.
It is scathing. I'm going to use some swear words here, which I don't usually do on the show.
All right, are you going to censor them out in post-production, or are you going to leave them in?
I don't know yet.
Oh, I can't.
I guess we're going to find out in a second. So this is a whole letter out to our friend Kev. But it ends with, if I worked at a donut stand and I kept fucking up donuts, I'd be fired. Even if I made a tiny decent one every now and then, it doesn't matter. I'm going to get fired. I love that studio, and you're allowing it to sink. It's not about making movies for the fans and not the critics. It's not even about ruining childhoods. It's about protecting livelihoods. It's time to wake up and make the fucking donuts, Kevin.
That's pretty badass, I'm not gonna lie.
So, Jesus. She throws it there earlier, she's like, I wish you would have to live in your car until you make an actual good one of these superhero movies.
And this is from an employee of the studio?
They were fired after
laid off?
Yeah, downsizing in 2014 after
wow.
It wasn't a good financial year for them.
Apparently not. She can't even make donuts.
Well, I guess she said they laid off like 10% of Warner Brothers
Wow.
in 2014, and she was one of them.
This wouldn't have happened if they were able to make the WB viable, but now it's the CW.
Yeah, oh my god.
The singing frog probably did the Ben.
No. But the director of Wonder Woman comes out, she's like, this is absolutely ridiculous, like, the production was great, everyone's perfect, which of course you'll say, but when they're saying all these things, it's like, you keep having, like, a swing and a miss on everything, and people are losing their jobs. I'm like, this is
good.
Maybe
Yeah, but
it's not
the studios
just-
are making money. Warner Bros. Is making money on these movies, though.
not as much as they want. I mean, take any movie and double it for marketing for what it costs.
Let's see. Suicide Squad, box office.
Which is breaking August records, but took something like a 79% drop in week 2.
That's pretty. $384 million as of the recording of this show. On a budget of, let's see, Suicide Squad. Let's just Google Suicide Squad budget.
Which you have to hope that it's an honest figure, and also then just double it for marketing.
$175 million.
And then double it for marketing.
So let's say 325 then. So they're in the black, 384, and if you're saying 325 was spent to make the movie in the black, but I mean not by much.
Yeah, I mean, they still need to be profitable to be able to pay all of the people who work at the studio. And if they're not, people up top, nothing happens, but everyone down at the bottom.
Oh yeah, it's just start at the bottom, and that's where cuts begin, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was a very nasty letter to DC, just kind of blaming the president for not switching things up enough.
Well, I'm also sure that if you had lost your job and you were going to write a letter to your former employer in that manner, it would not be a very nice letter.
Well, I never made donuts.
It's a metaphor, or it'd be a simile. It'd be a simile.
And then, sad news of the week, Kenny Baker, the actor who we mostly know for playing R2-D2, passed away at the age of 81.
Yes, that's sad news out of the Star Wars world. Really paved the way for a lot of actors like Warwick Davis.
Well, Warwick Davis got his big break because Kenny Baker was, what, sick?
Yeah, he was an Ewok. Because Kenny Baker was supposed to play Wicket. And so Warwick Davis got to play that. Of course, Warwick Davis went on to be in Willow. He was also in the...
super underrated movie.
Willow, yeah, it's a good movie. I liked Willow a lot. He was also in the Harry Potter movies.
We're not here to talk about Warwick Davis.
Okay.
We'll talk about him when he's dead.
Or when he probably takes up the mantle of R2-D2.
Yeah, I guess. Well, at this point, I don't think it's not a man in a suit anymore.
Fair enough.
But there was this big outpouring from people involved in Star Wars, whether it be tweets. I wanted to do a couple of them. Ewan McGregor put out, "So sorry to hear about this. It was lovely working with Kenny. Kenny Baker, Star Wars R2-D2 actor, dies at age 81.
Yeah, I linked that to a BBC article, I think, if I remember correctly from that tweet.
George Lucas put out a really nice one. Kenny Baker was a real gentleman, as well as an incredible trooper who always worked hard under difficult circumstances. A talented vaudevillian who could always make everyone laugh. Kenny was truly the heart and soul of R2-D2 and will be missed by his fans and everyone who knew him."
There were times that if you ever watched Empire of Dreams, they would break for lunch and leave Kenny Baker in the R2-D2 suit and forget that he was in there. Like in Tunisia, he's inside this tin can roasting, and people forgot he was in there. Of course, I mean, obviously they went back and found him shortly thereafter, but there were times they would just leave him in there.
My favorite was Mark Hamill. "Goodbye, Kenny Baker. A lifelong loyal friend. I loved his optimism and determination. He was the droid I was looking for."
That was a sweet tweet. I thought it was really touching.
And then there was the one I was waiting for. R2-D2, C-3PO, besties for life.
Yes.
Real life, hated each other with a passion.
Oh, yeah.
They both hated each other so much. So I kept thinking, like, what's Anthony Daniels going to put out on his Twitter account where he follows 0 people?
Did he even tweet?
Yes, he did.
Oh, boy.
So I'm like, what's going to be for a man he hated? Sad to hear of Kenny's passing. One of the truly original cast, so famed for his iconic role as R2. He'll always be remembered by so many fans.
I mean, it's not great.
Hell of a lot of heart in there.
It's not bad. What are some other tweets that he has? I just want to...
That's a screenshot.
Oh, never mind.
That's how I was able to pull those up so fast.
I'm going to look up some Anthony Daniels tweets.
I bet they're all about C-3PO.
They probably are. Get the new red-armed C-3PO. The chance of me really caring about the passing of Kenny Baker is like 1 in 9,000 or whatever he would say. I care. Don't misconstrue that. That's me being Anthony Daniels.
What an impression. Why you don't do more voice work is beyond me.
Apparently you're not paying very much attention.
But the big news of the week before we get into our main topic, Rogue One trailer dropped. This time for real. It also helped that they had teasers for the trailer.
Oh, yes. The one that came out last Friday that we were really, really excited for.
Yeah. And overall, looks good. It's hard to maintain this like level of heightened excitement for it all the time now that Star Wars is kind of back in the pop culture lexicon on a now yearly basis. I can't lose my mind over every trailer. I'm like, yeah, it looks good. I'm all about it. Forrest Whitaker shows up sporting a completely different look.
Yeah, a little bit of a reshoot hair there.
More than just reshoot hair, like reshoot costume, they gave him a beard and they gave him hair.
Yes. Well, that costume, spoiler alert, or potential spoiler alert, apparently is like a life support apparatus.
Yeah, 'cause his guy is from the Clone Wars. He's one of the characters in that show, the
Yes.
animated one. I haven't really watched the show, so I don't know a lot about him. I was thinking about maybe watching it before Rogue One comes out,
Ooh, good idea.
just to know who that guy is. That's right, I'll watch 5 seasons of television
To know
to figure
one
out a guy
person.
who has like 10 minutes of screen time.
Is that all you think he has?
I'm guessing that if he was sporting a totally different look, they reshot all of the scenes, and I don't think they did reshoots for that long.
Fair enough. Very fair. Maybe that was all they reshot was Forrest Whitaker.
Could be. I mean, everyone talks about it. It's like, there was extensive reshoots, but reshoots are a thing that happens. I'm not jumping on the idea that it's necessarily a bad movie.
It sounds relatively extensive if he got new hair, new beard, and a suit.
Yeah, but we'd also don't know how much was reshot, what was reshot, and if they just spent all that time redoing Forrest Whitaker scenes because they thought he needed a new hair job.
Well, we shall find. Well, I mean, we probably will never know. But, of course, there's always going to be some. Although, like we were talking about before we started recording tonight, the secrets, the ability to keep secrets from this movie, from this cast is
Yeah, I'm not
disturbing.
gonna mention them here, but it doesn't. A couple quick internet searches will tell you why the Empire is at that planet, why the Jedi. It's important to the Jedi, and also if you want to know who some of the cast members that die, they mentioned that at Star Wars Celebration and just dropped that, which is really funny to watch the cast members around this individual when he says it.
What?
I don't understand. Part of what you get when you're doing these kind of tentpole movies is you're an actor. You get paid X amount of money, and they go, now shut your mouth, and if you can keep your mouth shut, you'll get the rest of your money. We're just going to keep this over here.
Oh, yeah, there's a non-disclosure agreement.
Yeah, this is your don't spoil the movie money.
Well, I guess he's not, or she's not getting there and not spoil the movie money.
No, he will not be getting his not spoiling the movie money. At this point, I feel like he can just say whatever because he's not getting that paycheck.
Oh, no. The non-disclosure agreement has been voided.
Yeah, once they're like, and when this character dies, yeah, don't say
It's
that.
probably one of those moments, as soon as he said it, he like tried to reach out and grab the words and shove them back into his mouth.
No, he didn't. Like, it didn't phase him at all. Like, it just didn't occur. Like, everyone around him. This isn't like a newspaper clipping. I don't. That's really nothing's a newspaper clipping anymore. It's not just
What's a
like,
newspaper?
Yeah, it's a video. You see it happen, and he just keeps going, and everyone around him freaks out. It's really funny.
Excellent.
But that's neither here nor there for this trailer. There was also an international trailer that came out yesterday. I lose track of days.
I could read the title page. It was in Chinese or Japanese.
It was
I could read it.
Japanese.
It was Japanese. I could read what it said.
Yeah, it said Rogue One.
It did.
But it came out that Felicity Jones's character, We'll
roll with it.
Jen Ersa.
Yeah.
That looks like the reason that she's there, and we already knew this, that Mads Mikkelsen was going to be playing her father, and he's the one who made the Death Star plans. But they say that they intercept a transmission from him, which I don't think was meant to go to the Rebels, but...
Probably when you intercept the transmission,
Yeah.
It's not really intended for you. When you intercept anything. Jyn Erso.
But it looks like that's why she's there,
Yes.
for whatever that means.
Forrest Whitaker's character's name is Saw Gerrera. That's pretty
Yeah, that was it.
badass name.
And, well, there's like Cassian something.
Captain Cassian, played by Diego Luna.
So we do get a little bit more of the plot. Some of the stuff that I thought was interesting is we're getting a little bit more of... I didn't realize how much of a team movie this was going to be. I thought it was going to be more isolated stuff going on, but it looks like they have to gather up an entire crew.
We see a whole team.
Yeah.
Everybody
Which
thinks the big team shot.
May the Force be with you. Yeah, I know. That's what we say in Star Wars.
Even Han Solo said to May the Force be with you at one point. So, just saying, I find your lack of faith disturbing, Zach.
I didn't say it was going to be bad. I said I'm all for it.
Well, no, earlier you kind of poo-pooed the May the Force be with us line in the international trailer.
Yeah, it'll probably be a silly moment in the movie because it was a silly moment in the trailer. We do get to see some kind of different stuff. We have a different angle on the Death Star from below, or the Death Star might be upside down. We also see it eclipsing a sun, which looks really cool.
Sweet. The one where it's kind of hovering over an atmosphere of a planet.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
What do you think the tower is? Because we're in this, I'm not sure if it's the city or the planet that's called Jeddah. But
I think it's some sort of Jedi temple of sorts.
Yeah, because we know that this planet's important to both the Empire and the Jedi for reasons I won't get into, because I have no reason to spoil this movie if you don't want it to be spoiled. But that's kind of what I'm assuming, too, that it's some kind of Jedi temple, maybe for like a pilgrimage.
It probably very well could be. And we also know from like extended universe stuff that one of the big things that Darth Vader was doing in between the events of Revenge of the Sith and New Hope is he was being sent out by Darth Sidious to find and locate Jedi hotbeds and places that were important to the Jedi and destroy them, or find any Jedi that might be there and kill them. So this place obviously has to have some sort of significance to the Jedi.
The thing that I found the most interesting in this trailer, and I don't have an answer for what it is, we see they're flying in a ship. I think the city is called Jeddah. Jeddah's kind of on a mountaintop, and it looks like this whole mountain range is falling onto the ship.
It's a pretty cool shot.
But we've never seen anything like that in a Star Wars movie. Like, we haven't seen a weapon that's powerful enough to destroy parts of land. We've seen a weapon powerful enough to destroy a planet, and your regular, like, pew, 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 lasers.
Yes. And the Force. Don't forget the Force and lightsabers.
I guess you could Force push a mountain? That'd actually be badass.
It would be. Maybe Darth Vader's like Force pushing a mountain. He could get enraged. This is what my theory was, and you were kind of like, lukewarm on it, or maybe you were. Maybe I read you wrong. I think that it's the Death Star is doing this because they're talking about a weapons test, and really,
it could
the
be.
Death Star wasn't fully operational until A New Hope, so it could be a test to see where it's at.
Yeah, maybe it's not all the way there yet, because
or maybe they're just wiping the city off the map, the face of the planet. They don't need to destroy the whole planet because maybe the resources that they're after on the planet are still there, and they're just kind of wiping out whatever's there.
Yeah, they might not be at full power yet. I don't know, maybe it's something else. Maybe they have to blow up that mountain range to try and prevent the Empire from getting something. Who knows? I guess they know. And if we wait another 5 minutes, one of the cast members will tell us what it is.
Or just wait another 3 months. 4 months.
Yeah.
4 months.
Actually, yeah, wow, we're getting really close
Time
to it.
flies. And then 1 year and 4 months, and we get episode 8.
Yeah.
So excited.
Do I have anything else really about Star Wars? It looks good.
No, I think it's going to be real interesting. The new droid. The new droid has Imperial markings on it, but he's with the...
Yeah, we knew that, though, that he would had been reprogrammed by Cassian, whatever his name is.
Captain Cassian. Oh, and we actually get a view of Darth Vader.
Yeah, which, I mean, we've seen it before.
Sitting in his little Darth Vader thing. And
he sits so often. Sometimes he rotates.
Yeah.
He lives in a circle.
Well, he doesn't have real legs.
No.
I'm sure his stumps get tired.
Maybe that's why they're not tired, because they're not real legs.
Well, from the knees down, they're not real, but like he still has like quads and hamstrings. He's got knee up. You ever wonder if Darth Vader could still get it on?
I imagine now.
Okay, just a second. What about there's no fly, there's no zipper on his suit. How does he go to the bathroom? These are hard-hitting questions. You're thinking deep thoughts about this now, aren't you?
He's just wearing leather.
Do they even go to the bathroom in a galaxy far, far away a long time ago? They never make any mention of it. Well, they said Bantha Poodoo, I guess, so. Really, Banthas are allowed to go to the bathroom. I've never seen one bathroom in any Star Wars movie. Trash compactor, 1. Bathroom, 0.
I imagine this isn't an issue that they have.
No mention of bathing. Do they bathe in that galaxy far, far away?
Maybe they just all go into those tubes where Luke was healing. Just a quick tube dive in and out.
Yeah. I like that. That looked refreshing in there. Did you know that Mark Hamill almost died in that tank? There was a light that exploded above him, and giant shards of glass came down into the tank.
He had a rough day.
Yeah, he's in there, recovering from a Wampa attack, and then glass shards coming down on him.
But that'll do it for the news, the breakdowns, and I guess that will bring us into our main topic of the week, the Killing Joke.
Now might be a really good time for you to get angry.
That's my secret. I'm always angry.
It's time for an Editor's Note podcast review.
Now, if you happen to miss it, the reason we're doing the Killing Joke is because There was an animated feature about it that came out recently. We're a couple of weeks late on it, but we had other topics to deal with. It's not my fault. We only do so many topics a week. One.
It's true, although we cover a variety of news topics. I mean, today's news segment went quite long, actually.
So, there was rumors floating around about this for a long time. DC, since 2007, has been pumping out a lot of direct-to-video movies. They mostly range from okay to bad. There's exceptions in there. It's not across the board. I really love their adaptation of Dark Knight Returns. So when I really care for them, the rest of them are fine for the most part. But they announced they're doing Killing Joke. And Killing Joke, in many people's minds, will be one of those books that always makes most important Batman books, top 3. You got Dark Knight Returns Year 1, and then Killing Joke usually fleshes out that list. But it hadn't been done. It's a dark story, and that's not really what DC was doing. But then they announced they're doing it. They're doing it rated R. Not only are they doing it with that, they're doing it with Bruce Timm, who produced, was one of the co-creators on Batman the Animated Series, and they're bringing back Kevin Conroy as Batman and Mark Hamill as the Joker.
It's a very Hamill-heavy show. Lots of Mark Hamill mentions today.
I guess, yeah.
But
I mean, I hear all that, and I'm on board for it. It's yeah, getting the team back together. They also got Tara Strong in there, who was Batgirl in the show, and she's doing Batgirl again, which isn't as exciting, but still all right. We're getting the band back together one last time. Mark Hamill kept saying, "I'm done with the Joker. The only way I'll come out of retirement is if we do the Killing Joke." Bam, comes up, and he's also going to voice the Joker in another upcoming thing. So
I didn't realize that
he's bad at retirement.
How big into comic books and Batman Mark Hamill was.
Mark Hamill knows everything. He directed a movie called Comic Book the Movie.
I did not know that.
He also stars in it.
Oh, is it worth watching?
No.
So that's not even. It's a what are you doing with your life rating?
Yeah, it's bad. It's not good.
Okay, good to know. Is it like UHF with Weird Al? You ever see that one?
No, I never did. I've heard of it.
Oh, I haven't seen it, but I've heard mixed reviews. Edheads, get at us. Should we watch UHF or Comic Book the Movie?
I know the answer. Don't do that one. It's a real, I have nothing to do on this rainy Sunday afternoon.
You couldn't even make it. Would you rather make a mess in your house just to clean it up so you could avoid watching it?
It'd be acceptable background noise, I guess. But we're not here to talk about that movie.
Sorry.
Kind of boring movie. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But yeah, no, he loves comics hard. He knows everything. He's read everything.
Because he originally wasn't even supposed to be the Joker. He was supposed to be some sort of B-tier character.
No, he was, because he was first cast in probably the best episode of the show they ever did, Heart of Ice, as a random villain, and it was the Mr. Freeze origin episode. But then it was originally Tim Curry was going to do the Joker. And he had already they had recorded 6 or 7 episodes, and they're like, Tim, it's not working out. Fired him, got in Mark Hamill, and that's how that went down. But for those first few episodes, he had to match the lip flaps of what Tim Curry was doing, so he couldn't do his full Hamill for a little bit.
Wow.
Because he was going with someone else's work.
That's tough to do.
Yeah, imagine. But he's back. So we're going to talk about The Killing Joke kind of as a whole. Probably focus a little more on the movie because the movie's the newer thing, but I'm going to touch on both. The book's been out for 30 years, so I'm not going to worry about spoilers at this point.
Yeah, if you're listening to this podcast, you've probably read The Killing Joke.
There's a good chance.
I've read The Killing Joke.
Wasn't very long.
It wasn't. It was a quick read.
That is a little bit of the problem. When you say it out loud, they're going to do The Killing Joke, you just go, all right. And then if you sit down and read it, you're like, there's not a lot of material to work with here. It was released in I want to say 88, I think.
You're the guy who owns the comic book store.
It doesn't really matter. It was released in the late 80s in what's referred to as prestige format. It wasn't quite a graphic novel, not quite a comic book, something in between. It has a nice binding on it, but it sells like gangbusters. It goes back for something crazy, 10 printings or something.
88,
there we go. It is eventually collected into graphic novel form, gets a little backup story in there to flush it out a bit, but it was never intended to be a super long story. And this is written by Alan Moore, who we've talked about on the show in the past, doing
Watchmen.
Yeah. When he was originally writing this, DC has what they refer to as Elseworld stories, which just means you kind of get to give character a story, but it's not going to affect the rest of the DC universe.
You get to borrow the character,
yeah.
Your own little fan fiction that they get to sell.
Yeah. They go off, and it doesn't affect anything else that exists on its own. You do your thing. So this was originally intended as an Elseworld story, but this thing sold so insanely well, DC folded it into regular continuity, which I think affects how you want to read the ending or not. But we'll get there.
Yes.
The book itself, there's some similarities to Watchmen. It opens with the same kind of 9-panel structure that he had, and there's also a sense of symmetry in there. The first 3 panels of the book are the exact, it's mirrored perfectly at the very end of the book. But look at this. Dark in the rain, a little bit of light, we get a full exposure to what's happening there.
At the end, it goes, it's almost, I think it's the same exact panel, same art.
Yeah. But yeah, do you see what I mean? There's a
Yeah.
symmetry to it. And again, the same thing with the 9-panel structure, same thing we saw in Watchmen.
Yes.
This book is certainly not as deep as Watchmen. Watchmen is a book that I really can't praise enough. Every time I read it, I can kind of peel another layer back of that story. With this, once you've read it
still
once...
confused about the Watchmen.
Yeah. So I'll say this up front. Killing Joke is a really good book, but I think it's kind of deified a bit. People, when they talk about Alan Moore's work, especially from the 80s, it's hard to find a lot of criticism out there.
He criticizes it heavily.
Yeah, he doesn't like it. He's thinks it's too violent and did too much shock value in it, which it kind of is. It's this whole 1980s sense of these funny books aren't just for kids anymore. Look at what we're doing.
Yeah, you're paralyzing a woman and taking naked photographs of her,
Yeah, and then showing them to her father.
who's also naked.
Yeah,
We get Jim Gordon penis in this book.
I don't even remember. I'll believe you. You really get fascinated with that stuff.
I mean, I'm just, again, when I started reading these comic books for you, I didn't expect them to have nudity in them, but apparently these funny books aren't for kids anymore.
Yeah, you're really missing the points of the story. It's not about what's hanging out.
No,
It's not the context.
no, I understand totally what it is. It's an origin story for the Joker.
Yeah, this is generally what people consider to be the Joker's origin. But even he says later in the book, he's like, I forget sometimes, and if I'm going to have an origin, I'd like it to be multiple choice.
But also, it kind of
I love that line. That's such a good line.
that's such a good line. But it also does kind of fold in a little bit. I was thinking about this, with his I don't remember my origin to be multiple choice. It folds in a little bit with Heath Ledger's Joker because every time he talks about his scars,
Yeah, totally.
my scars.
That's exactly where they stole that from, was out of that book. The book itself, it's fairly short, and in the movie, that's kind of the problem. Like I said, this book opens with a certain kind of symmetry to everything, versus in the movie, it starts off with a shot of Gotham and voiceover from Batgirl where she goes, I bet this isn't how you thought this was going to start, and I just went, nope.
No.
You really threw me there.
Oh, no.
And what we get are essentially one more episode of Batman the Animated Show. It's like 22 minutes long before it actually gets into the Killing Joke. Now, Barbara, if you haven't read the book, even though I've mentioned it like 20 other times on the show, shot and paralyzed later in the book.